insights, and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
If you see a student being bullied, be supportive. Ask if they're okay and invite them to join you. You'll be an ally and you can make a friend. Friendship! Visit StopBullyingSpeakUp.com and join Cartoon Network to redraw your world without bullying.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
I think it's the biggest game they've ever had because of the quality of the team and being on home soil. It feels like there's a higher expectation. The knockout round and the round of 16 is nothing new for this United States team. That's not uncharted territory, but I think the expectation is so much higher. So this is going to be a massive opportunity for them to take hold of the whole energy that's going on about this World Cup and about this men's national team in North America. So yes, I would agree with you 100%. This is the biggest game in men's national team history for the U.S.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. My gosh, it is a huge, huge night. 8 o'clock. USA v. Belgium. We'll play this game in Seattle.
Hopefully everyone still has all 10 fingers, all 10 toes, all 2 eyebrows.
I have seen some very interesting videos from over the weekend. Fireworks, mishaps.
Oh, yeah. No. No, thank you. I stick to the sparklers or I go somewhere to see
Sparklers.
professionals.
No, I'm with you.
Because Biff, he's not a fan of any of it, but
No.
he can tolerate a sparkler or two.
Well, I think we got away very easy this weekend. Normally where we live,
oh, yeah.
You can hear fireworks.
Yeah.
But it was a low-impact fireworks weekend up in Oxford, North Carolina, America.
Yeah.
It was, thankful for us. Like, Earl, the older dog, doesn't hear great. So unless it's thunder that he can feel,
Yes.
he's okay.
The Thunder did get Biff this weekend.
Yep. And Harriet, she's just sort of annoyed at the world. So it's really business as usual for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't really deal with it.
Yeah,
We just dealt with heat.
I was pleased because I almost don't even remember hearing a lot of fireworks on the 4th of July, but I did yesterday, which typically in my neck of the woods.
5th?
Yes, it is a weekend event because fireworks.
Interesting.
Because I live in the country too, and so rather than it be a day thing, it's like a weekend thing.
Interesting. I didn't. We didn't really get any of that. We got thunder.
Yes,
There's
we did get
a
that.
lot of rolling thunder and lightning.
Yep.
Actually, not so much lightning, but yesterday we had a little bit of welcome rain, which was nice.
Big
and it
time.
Cooled us off finally.
Yes.
All right. I trust you had a good 3-day weekend here.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was very chill, but not chill in like the temperature sense. It was just relaxed.
Right. On Friday, we presented everything, really, with very little editing from the morning or day after the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. That was our best of. Couldn't think of anything more best of-y than that.
What's better than that?
The only thing that we could have done better maybe is present the parade broadcast, which was about 3 hours worth of radio.
And a lot of bleeps.
Well, we didn't.
we
didn't have
here.
to do that.
But
so we weren't airing the podium.
If the players would have been in any portion of that.
Right. Although actually, I think at one point we did go to the podium. That was probably an issue.
Yeah.
So, but that was that was just a great day. Great day to celebrate the love affair between the Hurricanes and the city of Raleigh, which was they're just surrounded. It's not just Raleigh because there were a lot of people there. Hey, my guy Lee who I met through the podcast, Canes Corner Podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. We do it live on YouTube after every Hurricanes game. Won't have any of those until September. But he flew from Perth, Australia.
Oh.
This is no joke. I've said this before.
Yes.
Flew from Perth, Australia to Raleigh, North Carolina to go to the parade.
Yeah. That's dedication.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
But that is what we're talking about, and how the team and their fans have essentially fallen in love with each other, and that's awesome. That is what fandom is about.
It is.
It really is. And it's funny, and I'll be quick here. The reason why, like, there are a lot of people that in our business, you grow out of fandom because you need to maintain some level of objectivity. It's not easy to always do.
No.
But there is something that you cannot replace if you eliminate fandom from your sports viewing. When people say, well, you just have to look at it as entertainment. No, you don't. You don't have to be a fan of everything. You don't have to have a team that you love to death in every sport. You don't. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite college football team. I don't have a favorite NFL football team.
I don't have a favorite NBA team.
Right.
Well, no, the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Like, I grew up a Jets fan. I don't really care.
No.
I grew up a Knicks fan. Whatever. It doesn't emotionally impact me one way or the other. I'm a Mets fan. This is baseball season sucks. Is it going on? Is baseball still being played?
It is.
I wasn't aware. But I'm a Hurricanes fan. And the results and how they go about their business matters. And it matters greatly to me. And that's why this 8-year run, which this will continue, is so incredible because of how good it has been, how great it was this year, how it made not just me, but thousands of other people feel, and that we can look at this team and know that it's going to be good for years to come. Like, it's such a cool thing, and it is, to a certain extent, it's not like fulfilling to your life, but it satisfies a portion of it, right? That portion that you set aside for fandom, it satisfies that. And that's tremendous. It is so cool. And I would not trade that feeling for anything. And that's why you really can't separate. I mean, yeah, for those people who are sports fans, it's not just, I'm a fan of the sport. Well, you're probably a fan of a team. And that's good. Or a player.
Yeah.
Right? You don't even have to be a fan of a specific team. Your favorite player, like there are LeBron James fans.
Mm-hmm.
And those fans were Laker fans for the last few years, and they were Cleveland fans before that, and Miami fans before that, and Cleveland fans before that, and who knows who they're going to be fans of going forward.
Or in baseball, Ohtani brought a lot of eyeballs to baseball, maybe people who didn't have a fan.
My gosh. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
He's an incredible player, too. All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, this is a big game tonight. Might as well start sort of there.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
All right, look, I know that there is, we haven't even talked about the Carolina Hurricanes, but we will get to them. I promise you that. We will get to them. All right, we're going to hear from some people who are in the know, or people who have opinions that you may respect more than you respect mine, and frankly, doesn't matter to me one way or the other. So the United States takes on Belgium today, and they are going to go with the flow. Folarin Balogun will play tonight because yesterday morning, FIFA, the governing body of world football, announced that U.S. men's national team striker Folarin Balogun would have his red card banishment suspended for 1 year and would be eligible for selection for today's match against Belgium. This is great news, and it is also terrible news, and we will explain. First of all, why is it great? Well, Flo is. Balogun has been, with respect to Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie and Chris Richards, Flo Balogun has been the United States' best player. He is the most impactful player they have had in years at this level. And having him available against Belgium and the way that Balogun can impact the match, create problems for a good but not great side, is critical. The United States does not have another player. They don't have like a Balogun light. They have good players. Ricardo Pepi, who plays at PSV in the Dutch League, he's a good player. Haji Wright, who was a prolific goal scorer in the championship, who will now play in the Premier League for Coventry City, is a good player. But they're different. Nobody does what Balogun does. Nobody. There are still things that Balogun can do better. In fact, probably he should have more goals than he does in this tournament. But Balogun makes his teammates better because of what everybody is aware that he can do. He can play with the ball. He can create offense not just for himself but for other teammates. It's not like he's this supreme finisher like an Erling Haaland or a Harry Kane, although Kane does other things too. Balogun is a ball player who just happens to be the United States' best striker in I don't know how many years. So it's great to have him. But now we get to the other part of this, in that it's terrible that we have him. And I get it. I am not hoping he doesn't play. I'm glad he's playing. Oh, how many times do you have to say that for people to get it? You're not arguing that he shouldn't play, really. I'm glad he's playing. We can talk about why he was suspended in the first place. Why he received a red card in the first place. It was never a red. It was a terrible call. I think those of us that have watched enough soccer understand it was a bad call. The player that he stepped on to get the red card, that player initiated the contact. It was not Balogun going for a tackle, trying to dispossess the Bosnian player from the ball. It was both players going for the ball, and actually, Balogun was in better position for the ball. It was, as they call it, a coming together. It was not somebody trying to initiate a tackle in football. So, that in and of itself should eliminate the red card, because it was the Bosnian player that put himself in the position where Balogun's foot has to come down somewhere. And it just came down, unfortunately, on the guy's ankle, and it certainly looked bad. Now, the second part of why it was a terrible call. The process that was used to go to VAR was improper. Based on everything that I have read, they only showed the referee slow motion and still pictures. And again, according to what I've read, that is improper. So it was an improper use of VAR, and it was a terrible call to begin with, and yet they showed him the red. U.S. had to play 30-some-odd minutes with down a man, which they survived. Actually, it was only 1-0 at the time, so they were in some jeopardy there. But they survived it. And then they were going to be, because of the red card, they were going to have to play the next match. The part of the penalty, if you get a red card, is that you miss the next match. Just like if you accumulate too many yellows, you miss a match. Or if you get 2 yellows in a given match, that becomes a red and you miss the next match. But here's the next part of this that is important. Those 2 things that I just mentioned, the fact that it was a terrible call, should never have been red, and the process being bad, don't matter. They unfortunately do not matter in this situation. And FIFA said on Wednesday into Thursday, there was no appeal. There was not a mechanism to appeal the red card. None. The only appeal that is possible in this situation is if a committee determined that there should be additional penalties. So if they decided that the contact was so violent, so egregious, that more than the normal one-match suspension was necessary. At that point, you can appeal. But until you get to that point, and by the way, there was no determination that anything more than one match should have been part of the punishment. So because of that, there was no appeal. And FIFA kept saying it. Very quickly, I want to finish the thought why it doesn't matter. Okay, why those two things doesn't matter. Because bad calls have been part of the sport forever. And it doesn't matter after the fact whether or not the call was bad or not. As long as the red card stands, the punishment is supposed to stand. Now, in many cases, FIFA can go back and say, no, that was a bad call. Get rid of it. And we remove the red card. Like, leagues do it all the time. We're taking that technical foul away. They do it all the time. But they have reasons for doing that. Okay. To the decision that, or the idea that there would be no appeal. Now, it has been reported by The Athletic and a lot of other entities that repeated and daily phone calls were made from the U.S. government to FIFA, personally to Gianni Infantino, the FIFA, Grand Poobah, asking that the red card be rescinded. FIFA denies this. The reporting is absolutely trustworthy, so I get why FIFA would deny it. The President of the United States today said, yes, I called them about it. What FIFA is saying, though, is that it had no bearing on the decision, that it was an independent decision to not reinstate, not remove the red card. It was a decision to suspend the additional punishment, which is a one-match ban. That's what FIFA said. Okay, that's fair. That's not unprecedented. It happened with Ronaldo, the most famous case and the most recent case of this, in World Cup qualifying for Portugal. In the second to last match, I guess it was a semifinal or whatever it was, Ronaldo got a straight red. And he got a straight red that came with a 3-match ban. He served the first match, and they they suspended the next two, which would have been the first two matches in group play. So whoever Portugal played in their first and second matches, Ronaldo would not have been eligible for those. But FIFA suspended those two match banishments. Now, you suspended for a 1-year probationary period, which is the exact thing that will happen with Flo Balogun. But here's what they said when they suspended the punishment for Cristiano Ronaldo. They said, well, he's never done this before. They gave an explanation as to why they were going to suspend the 2-match ban. They actually put forth an explanation. They didn't do that here. They've been given repeated opportunities to simply say, we thought it was a bad call. We didn't like the process. And they haven't done that. So all they're saying is that under Article 27, we reserve the right to suspend the banishment, the 1-match ban. And as long as he doesn't do it again in a year, basically that's what they've said. You better not do that again, young man. That's what they've done. And frankly, it feels kind of dirty to me. It feels like the U.S. has been absolutely let off, and that's okay as long as there's an explanation as to why, but we have not gotten that. It feels dirty to me. I'm going to bring in one more element in a second. Andy Davies, who is an ESPN soccer writer and former referee, his thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think it will change the officiating. These guys are the best, or most of them are the best in the world. So I think they'll go out and do their jobs. As a referee, as a match referee at that level, you delete all the outside noise. You can't afford to take any of that baggage into a game of football. So I think the actual officiating won't change. I mean, the noise around it, it's big news today. If Balogun goes and scores the winner tomorrow, then you can imagine what the fallout of that's going to be after that. So I think that's going to be the most telling situation, and how FIFA are going to deal with that if Balogun goes on and scores tomorrow night and wins USA the game.
Yeah, that will be something else. By the way, Belgium is obviously not happy about this, right? And I know fans don't want to hear this, but if you flip the results, if Belgium was allowed to bring Jeremy Doku, who is a winger, plays at Man City, or Kevin De Bruyne, who just played this year at Napoli, but is one of the best attacking midfielders in the history of the game, if they were allowed to bring those two players back in the exact same set of circumstances, American fans would cry foul. We know how it works. That's just the reality, right? And I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear Belgium cry about this. I thought you would want to play against a team with their best players. What planet do you live on? Stop it. Just stop with that crap. Anyway, FIFA didn't. Belgium has appealed. Their appeal's going to be denied, which is whatever. But FIFA sent a letter to the Belgian Football Association, and they still won't explain why. Again, another opportunity for FIFA to simply say, hated the process. Process was improper. Okay. And Belgium would have to go at that point. All right, we get it. Process did suck. We would hate to be in the same position. It was a terrible call. We can all agree with that. We can agree that Balogun should not have been sent off, and that in a roundabout way, this is a just result. Except that this isn't a roundabout way. It feels, if it doesn't feel dirty to you, I can't explain it. It should feel, I want Balogun to play. I'm glad he's playing. I want the United States men's national team to win. It is the first football team, first soccer team that I loved. I have always loved the men's national team. I've always gotten into, whether it's Gold Cup or World Cup, I've always gotten into that. It's only recently, last, 5 years, that I've become like a legitimate Liverpool fan, Premier League fan, international soccer fan. The men's national team is my first team. I love the fact that Balogun has been awesome. I'm glad he's playing. But it feels dirty that he is playing. And I don't know why anybody doesn't feel that way. And the precedent that people bring up, yeah, there is precedent for FIFA to do this. Let me bring in one other element. How many people remember the 2013 Masters, in which Tiger Woods went from kind of contender to not really, because he committed a penalty that was not called? I think it was on the Saturday round. Might have been the Friday round. But either way, Tiger Woods took an improper drop. And most people who know the rules of the game know that if you play a shot and one of your options is to play the ball from the exact same spot, you have to play the ball from the exact same spot. And Woods didn't do that. He replayed the shot, but from a different spot. And that's illegal. That comes with a 2-stroke penalty. They did not call it. Everybody knew it that night. They did not call it until the following morning, and then the Masters, because they reserve the right to do whatever they want, the Masters simply added 2 strokes to his score, and they did not disqualify him. Every other player in the tournament, 100% of the players not named Tiger Woods would have been disqualified. But they recognized how important Tiger Woods was to the tournament. So they said, we're just going to tack 2 strokes on. Unprecedented. But that was the Masters doing whatever the Masters wanted. Okay. Nobody's going to buck City Hall there. And this is sort of the same thing. FIFA decided, for whatever reason, political pressure maybe, but FIFA decided for whatever reason that they were going to let Flo Balogun play because they know that he's important to the U.S. And that'd be fine. I just wish they had attached a reason, and they did not. And that's what makes it dirty to me. It feels dirty. Here's the one more element of this that I want to bring in. Going into this event, there was a lot of doubt about America, about the men's national team and how good they can be. Christian Pulisic got hurt in the first match. Is he going to play? This team had not done very well in the run-up to the World Cup. Matter of fact, played Belgium in a friendly, got beat 5-2, got owned by Belgium. Different U.S. team by a lot. Different Belgian team, but definitely a different U.S. team. And I think the U.S. will win tonight. But the U.S. went from being kind of a team that was a feel-good team to root for, they've kind of taken that away. They have put, and it doesn't matter to me if we as American fans believe that or not. But that feeling is out there. Very real. That the American team is no longer the fun team to root for. That they got preferential treatment, and now they are, in some ways, a villain. So the feeling around the group, or around the game, maybe not around the team, the feeling around the game is very, very different. It also applies a lot of pressure to the U.S., which was probably there anyway. They have not been to the quarterfinals of a World Cup in a long time. It's going to be a great match. I cannot wait to watch it, and I am absolutely rooting for the United States tonight. Would never do anything other than root for this team. I love this team, but I hate the way we got here. And I don't see why anybody should have a problem with that. We should hate the way we got here. But now what you got to do is take your gift, because it was a gift, and make it work. My thoughts.
I even plan on watching tonight.
You'll watch the game tonight?
Even if I don't know 100% what's going on, I'm going to be watching.
Right. Oh gosh, this is people on Twitter with the rules. Why does Danny Canales, love Danny Canales to death, college football guy.
Yeah.
Well, what is this obsession with letting the clock run? Like, Danny, come on.
I'm just going to sit back and let them do their thing.
You've never watched before?
The whole time I'm just trying to guess what their metabolism is.
I mean, even college soccer.
Yeah.
The clock runs in college soccer.
Right.
Does it stop every time the ball's out of play?
Yeah.
So funny. So funny. All right. We're going to talk about the Hurricanes on the other side. Dan Rosen from NHL.com on what the Hurricanes have done, could do, haven't done so far in free agency and beyond. Next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
I know we just celebrated the 4th of July, but we have another holiday to celebrate on Friday. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Law Tigers, and National Motorcycle Day is recognized every year on the second Friday of July. This is where motorcycle enthusiasts and motorcyclists everywhere spend the day honoring those who ride and highlighting the motorcycle industry's positive impact on their local communities. There's honestly a ton of positives when it comes to riding, but one potential negative, even in a vehicle, is the danger of a wreck. And if you're ever in an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, make sure to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too. They get it. They know the value of your bike, your gear, the investment that you made, and what it's like to go through an accident. Case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55-plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage. And without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals, now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on a select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
This is Adam Gold.
Well, if I'm watching the Panthers game and it's going real bad, many times it does.
I punish them by not watching
I'm
them.
a disappointed mother.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, I realize it's not going to change the game, but it makes me feel better. And,
There were other factors at play there, but for the most part, I punish them. I will not watch you.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the 1s and 2s. Right, the Hurricanes, I guess, still have not really added to the Hurricanes roster at this point. Frederick Anderson did sign with the Edmonton Oilers, and that's one of those things where there was really no room for 3 goalies that had to stay on the NHL roster here. And if you brought Freddie back, more than likely you were going to have to trade either Brennan Bussey or Pyotr Kochetkov. And while I don't think Carolina would be opposed to either, I'm not sure that they would be comfortable with that. I think if they do that, it would be because they went out and got a much bigger goalie, which we'll talk about with Dan Rosen here in just a second. There were a lot of other things that happened that we will get to over time, including a massive, massive offer sheet by the Philadelphia Flyers to Leo Carlsson of the Anaheim Ducks. $18 million a year. The highest paid player in the sport. $18 million a year for Leo Carlsson's a great player. So $18 million a year. That is crazy. That is 3 times Logan Stankoven.
Wow.
Process that for 1 second. All right, Dan Rosen from NHL.com and the At the Rink podcast. Not a ton that Carolina has done so far this offseason. What are your thoughts to this point?
Well, listen, I mean, we know, all right, they just won the Stanley Cup, and they've got a lot of guys on good contracts.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to do a lot. I like that they let Freddie Anderson go. I know he was a big part of it for them, and everybody, and very well liked and all that. But there comes a point where you've got to let it go and move on. And they were able to do that because they easily could have signed him to a 1 or 2 year deal. And then but then what are you doing with Bussy and Kochetkov and all of those things, right? So I kind of like that. They have, I think, about $9 million in cap space available. They tried to get John Carlson. I think getting John Carlson was it basically was the insurance of losing Nikishin, right? I mean, like that's kind of where we're at. I mean, you look at the contract Minchikov just signed. Nikishin's going to get something along those lines,
or more. They're asking for more. Yeah, they're asking for more.
Yeah, right. So they're asking for more. Is he worth it? Is he that good? Where does that contract for Nikishin slot where he slots in your lineup? Could you get more value from a 5'6" defenseman on a lesser contract, which opens your doors to do more things down the road during the season or after this coming? You know what I mean? Like you have to consider all those options because where you're at with Nikishin, is he that? What is his value to the Hurricanes the same as his value would be somewhere else? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's you have to weigh that option for yourselves as well. And I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player. I think he's a valuable player, but let's see where it goes with him. I don't mind their off season because they don't have a lot to do so far. And if I do think, you're upset the apple cart a little bit too. Listen, they didn't want to go pay $18 million to Leo Carlsson. That's a luxury. It's not a need. You know what I mean? To me, that's a luxury, and you don't need that luxury.
That's what I look at with, in the supposed pursuit of Connor Hellebuck. I think the Hurricanes have always had a philosophy that they don't need elite goaltending; they need good goaltending, and they just won a Stanley Cup with good goaltending.
Yeah,
right. They didn't need, and Dan Rosen, NHL.com, is joining us here. Again. Their philosophy is we're not going to pay a ton for goaltending because we don't believe it is 100% necessary as long as we can play the way we can play. The Carlson thing for me was if we can get John for a couple of years, then it allows them a lot of range with what they can do with Alexander Nikishin. Where if you moved him, because if they're signing Carlson, they're moving Nikishin because I think they're gonna keep Gostisbehere as a third pair defenseman, power play specialist. Carlson would be in a similar role, although probably play up the lineup because I don't know if you want to play Carlson. No, we don't have to worry about it. Carlson and Gostisbehere together, two offensive-minded guys on a third pair might not work out. But anyway, I thought Carlson would have given them the freedom to do whatever they want, whether it's getting futures for Nikishin or a bona fide player back. And then you have to decide what is that bona fide player that Carolina would like. And this is where I do think the Hurricanes are looking 3-4 years down the road for the replacements for Stahl, right? Yep. Maybe the replacement for Martinook as well. I think those guys are going to sign year-to-year contracts or maybe 2-year deals after this upcoming season. I mean, I don't see Stahl retiring after this year. I don't. Even though he'll be going into his age 40 season, I don't see him retiring. He's still too good. Martinook is not that old, so I think Martinook will stick around. So I think they have to look at what is the next phase for this team, because I think the window is still open. And they do have a couple of months to play with regards to filling in for Seth Jarvis. They could have been a player for a high-scoring forward.
Well, I mean, listen, they still can be, because you have Nikishin. You can figure out what you're doing there. If you want to sign him, if you want to move him. They can still. You're right. They have to fill a window there with Jarvis, but it's something you can fill from within for the first couple of months of the season. It's not the end all be all. Like, they're going to be solid. They're going to hang around, and they didn't. With due respect to Seth Jarvis, they didn't lose Connor McDavid, and they're trying to fill in. They lost a good player who's an impact player for them, but they could fill in that time. I want to go back to what you were saying about Hellebuck.
Right.
Because I tend to agree with you when it comes to paying the goaltender when you play a system and you have a good team and you know it, and the goalie plays the system well and it works and you just won the cup and all that. Connor Hellebuck, though, is an $8.5 million a year goalie. 8.5 doesn't look that bad right now.
Right, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. It doesn't look that bad, and I don't think you can. I'll tell you what. I don't think you can trade. I don't think you go in and have a Hellebuck and Bussy situation, because Hellebuck's going to want to play 60 games, and Bussy may be better when he plays a little bit more. Who knows, right? But you can go in with Hellebuck and Kochetkov. And that could be a pretty good tandem right there for you. And you can move Bussy in the trade to Winnipeg. We're just spitballing here, right? I think that if you're going to do it, you're going to have to get a goalie back in return if you're Winnipeg. And Bussy's value may never be higher than it is right now. We don't know that, right? So it's good value right now. So anyway, I think Hellebuck is a different goaltender than just paying a goalie, right?
Okay, that's fair.
He's that good, and he plays that often, and he's that type of guy. I think it's a little bit different. Do they have to do it? No. But I will say this. Freddie Anderson, while didn't play that much and was injured and whatnot, he was still a safety valve all the time for Rod Brind'Amour, right?
Absolutely.
That safety valve is gone, and Bussy did it this year. Is Bussy going to do it next year, the year after, and the year after? What about Kochetkov? If all of a sudden Kochetkov does it this year, well, now you got to pay him, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole situation there where I actually think when we talk about getting ahead of it, it actually might make sense for the Hurricanes to really push for that type of trade, because it would be getting ahead of it.
Real quick, we'll close on this. Dan Rosen, NHL.com, as it pertains to the $8.5 million per year for the last 5 years of Hellebuck's deal, with the cap eventually hitting almost $114 million, that 8.5 probably looks a lot closer to 5.5, back 3 or 4 years ago. And it would make more sense. And I believe that if Hellebuck were here, Rod Brind'Amour and company would say, you ain't going to play 60 games. You're going to play 55, and we're going to limit the wear and tear on you. So when you get to the playoffs, maybe you don't have 65 games under your belt, because his postseason performance has not been Connor Hellebuck-ish. It has been pretty mediocre, and that's probably giving mediocre a little bit too much credit. So maybe they get him fresher when we start playing games in April and May and into June, and maybe that benefits him. And I do believe they'd keep Bussy and trade Kochetkov in that deal. I think Bussy, with 2 more years left in his deal after this one, I think is a guy that they have already decided is going to be their backup of the future.
Well, I think you're probably right. I wonder if it gets done with Kochetkov instead of Bussy.
Right.
I don't know that it would. You know what I mean? And I think you're right also about the 50 to 55 games, too. That makes sense. That's the way it should be. Hellebuck fights back on that. I know he does. He wants to play more. He doesn't practice a lot. He plays more than he practices. There is that. He has his own framework that he does with goalie coaches.
Right.
However, he's under more duress playing in Winnipeg than he would be in Carolina.
Oh, gosh,
so
yes.
There's that as well.
No doubt. That's Dan Rosen, NHL.com. Real quick about that. The more you think about where the salary cap is going, and it should be, I think next year it's at 113.5, something like that, 114. When it gets to that point, the 8.5 ain't a lot. Just isn't. Not when you look at what the cost is for, like Sergei Bobrovsky signed 3 times 7 in Toronto. 8.5 for arguably a better goalie right now, a younger goalie. Yeah, you can do that. And maybe it's not the worst thing in the world for Carolina to do that and know that, man, over the course of a regular season, you got Connor Hellebuck in net. You can get away with maybe some more things you didn't get away with this year. How many games did Carolina lose, put in jeopardy, end up in overtime this year that if they had an elite goaltender, they wouldn't have been in that position? Now, they had 113 points. They probably weren't going to have that many more points. But having that as a safety net that the Hurricanes haven't necessarily had on a game-in, game-out basis certainly is different. Again, I don't know how many points it ultimately means. But we're getting to a point where the finances of it all does not really negatively impact the team. Because look at Carolina now. There are not a lot of players to sign. And if they don't make a large money move, they're going to be significantly under the cap. That does give you flexibility to add what you need at deadlines and whatnot. That's great. But there aren't too many teams that just won the Stanley Cup that are significantly under the salary cap. And the Hurricanes can go into this upcoming season, if they don't add a goalie or anybody else, with about $15 million in cap space. That's a lot. All right, let's take a break. Come back. One-timers, you can ask any question you like. If you want to ask me anything about Flo Balogun and why he's playing and maybe why I feel dirty about it, that's fine too. You could even, can we do this on the phone? 919-860-5326. If you want, we can also carry it over to the next hour. 919-860-5326.
Yes.
I don't know the numbers. Or you could just hit us up on YouTube. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It's the world's biggest soccer tournament. The trophy that they will hand out in July actually isn't a cup. It's not shaped like a cup, but it feels like a cup, although maybe you can't drink out of it. Anyway, FanDuel's got this great idea. It's called FanDuel Super Sub because it's hot and players do not play in general. Not a lot of players play the full 120 minutes if we go extra time. So if your guy gets subbed out, your wager stays on with the guy who comes in for him. It's called FanDuel Super Sub. It's a super idea. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Hey, for instance, France has a guy. He comes off the field. They bring a guy on. That guy's great. He scores. But if you had the other guy, you could still win. FanDuel Super Sub. Super. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The extra help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Electricity. It's what powers our lives, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Across North Carolina, 26 electric cooperatives serve 2.8 million people, and we are committed to delivering reliable, affordable power. We're not for profit and are driven by service, providing the best possible value for our member owners. We're strengthening the people and communities that make our state great, today and for generations to come. Learn more at ncelectriccooperatives.com.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
Well, if I'm watching the Panthers game and it's going real bad, many times it does.
I punish them by not watching
I'm
them.
a disappointed mother.
Yeah.
Like, what are you what are you doing? So, yeah, I realize it's not going to change the game, but it makes me feel better. And, you know.
There were other factors at play there, but for the most part, I punish them. I will not watch you.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. We have a statement from FIFA really responding to the fact that the President of the United States definitely did call and lobby for the red card to be, or the punishment, the one-match ban to be rescinded. And FIFA's statement said, yes, the President did call, but it did not have any impact in our decision because it's independent of anything. They have an independent process, which you can believe or not, doesn't really matter to me. Whatever. Not going to play. We all have. We roll our eyes because we know how corrupt FIFA has been. So no sense even pretending that that's really independent, but that's fine. You can have it. But once again, FIFA presented with an opportunity to simply explain why the match ban was suspended. And they chose not to. There's no explanation given. None. That's all anybody's asking for. Tell us why. We choose not to. All right. We would never do that in one-time.
I'm excited because we have a special one-timer who called in today with their question.
Okay.
And that's our friend Brad.
What's up?
Adam?
Yes, Brad. How are you?
Listen, this is not the direction you think I'm going.
You can go whatever direction you want.
I know. I've been fascinated by this World Cup.
Sure.
I am fascinated by Erling Haaland.
Me too.
Tell me why it's going to be worth it for me to become a Man City fan and start watching soccer.
Oh.
Make your case.
Well, I'm not going to make my case for you to become a Man City fan. They're one of the rivals to my club. I don't need you on the other side of me being a Liverpool fan. I don't need you to be a City fan. I don't need you to be a fan of a nation-state-owned team. But I mean, Haaland is an unbelievable player. And I'll tell you what I love most about him, and this is not just the fact that he is a huge Caniac, is that he is simply fun. Erling Haaland is joy. And if you appreciate somebody who looks like they're having a great time all the time, like we love Seth Jarvis, it always looks like he's having a good time. Or, Jackson Blake always looks like he's having a good time. Erling Haaland's always having fun. So I would be just a Norway fan, and then you can be a frustrated Liverpool fan like me.
Shout out to Ben Coles. Almost did it.
You're the man. That's awesome.
Take care.
I'm not going to. By the way, this is like they're probably bots because I've seen a number of people say the same thing. Hey, man, this World Cup's got me. Help me pick a team. Pick a club to root for. I'm like, I'm not going there. You're probably a bot. But yeah. I do think that the number of people watching the World Cup has been just absolutely amazing. The numbers, I'll be curious what the numbers were for last night's match, because there are 4 home teams, believe it or not, in the World Cup, and only 2 of them are host nations. There are 4 home teams in the World Cup. Tell you what those are when we re-rack it on the other side, and we'll talk to Jessica Charman as well.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. He is the man who invented the no closing cost mortgage back in 1987, brought it to the Triangle in 1996. So, happy 30th anniversary. What do you get the person who invented the no closing cost mortgage on their 30th anniversary of bringing it to the Triangle? I don't know, but why don't we just celebrate? How about a no closing cost mortgage? Why should you not pay closing cost? Well, you don't have to. There's a good place to start. That's thousands of dollars that you can keep in your own account. And that's a great way to start, isn't it? By keeping thousands of your own dollars. Plus, gives you the freedom to refinance free of charge when the rates come down without a guilty conscience that, man, I just wasted all that money. I could have a better rate. Now you have the best rate always. You don't pay closing costs, and you get the freedom to do it again and again and again, always lowering your monthly payment. Miller Lending. MillerLending.com. Helpful website. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 2502146.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
According to NFL players in the NFL Top 100 voting, Bryce Young is the 98th best player in the league, inside the top 100. Regardless of how this season goes, that's going to look really wrong a year from now. Either it'll go well, they'll pay him $50 million a year, he'll be top 50, or it'll look really, really ridiculous that he was ever in the top 100.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Using gas to heat our homes, cook our meals, or dry our clothes can be dangerous to our health, especially for kids. But we have the technology to transition the country's infrastructure to clean energy. By encouraging local government and state agencies to electrify buildings instead of using dirty gas, we can clean up a public health crisis in our housing and protect the climate. My name is Matt Vespa. I'm a senior attorney at Earth Justice, and I'm going to court to fight for clean energy. Until safe, affordable clean energy is an option in every home, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals, now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on a select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
Visibility is higher than it's ever been from a social media perspective. And so when you have those results, it has blown up so much more. And it can be used in such a great way to grow the sport, grow the interest, have the visibility piece, but the inspirational piece towards younger players and retaining players in the game. So I do think this is a huge opportunity. We see every 4 years that there is growth based on the World Cup visibility, but every time it gets better. And this one being in our home country is huge.
There's Casey White, who's a midfielder on the women's national team for the U.S. She's right. More eyeballs been on this than have ever been on the Men's World Cup. It's just insane, the amount of attention. The environments have been great. I mean, if you watched last night, just an incredible atmosphere at the Azteca. Now, obviously, that's in Mexico. But two of the World Cup's home teams played last night. Mexico and England are two. There are 4 home teams in this World Cup. Mexico and England are 2 of them. You ask any television executive in the U.S., they will tell you the number 1 team probably is the U.S. team. But Mexico is right there in terms of if you put their matches on, you get a number. England is because of the high-profile nature of almost all of their players. You may not love it, but a lot of people do. Watching the Premier League and how it's presented to us here in the United States, I think NBC, Peacock, they do a great job with it. So we know all of the players. If you're interested in the sport, you know Harry Kane, even though he doesn't play in the Premier League anymore. You know Jude Bellingham, even though he doesn't play in the Premier League. He plays for Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world. So we know all these guys. So, like all of the people that I interact with on a personal basis, you know, we're all fans of the Premier League, and we have arguments over which, you know, players England should have brought, who they didn't bring. Why is this guy playing? Why is this guy starting? Who thinks that, like, we have these discussions. We know the players. And we're all wrong, but that doesn't even matter. But England is a home team, and Argentina is a home team because we have caught Lionel Messi fever. So as long as those 4 nations are playing, people are going to be watching. And tonight at 8 o'clock in prime time, the U.S. will take on Belgium, and it will probably draw 30 million viewers. 35 million viewers?
Yeah.
Like, that might just be on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
last match where the U.S. beat Bosnia, that match drew 24 million roughly on Fox and another 9 million on Telemundo. So what are we talking about? 33 million people in the U.S. watched a soccer match.
That's crazy. It's perfect timing, though, because with, this is the lull of summer, so
right.
It's perfect timing.
One more opportunity to not watch the Mets.
Yeah.
Who loses? Nobody loses. By the way, the Mets were leading 10-3 last night. I don't know if they won.
I'll Google. I have no idea because my Cubs, they thankfully did not get swept by the Cardinals. They at least won
that would
one.
be ugly.
I know. It was terrible.
Lose to them.
It was not great.
It's awful. That was awful.
They went a little crazy with the Padres after that 23-3 game.
Right.
They were like, "Oh, we're done now, right?" No. Mm-mm.
Season's over.
Yeah. Hey, the Mets won yesterday.
What was the final?
Beat the Braves 10-9.
10-9.
Yeah.
They led 10-3 entering the ninth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what kind of year it's been. So real quick before we run through this again, and coming up in about 15 minutes, Jessica Charman, Apple TV presenter of Major League Soccer, and a huge, we talked World Cup with her, it was last week or the week before. There's so much interest in this. We're looking to take advantage of it again, right? We're looking to take advantage of it again. And at some point it will hit. I don't know if this is it. We'll find out. We'll find out in the 2 years after this World Cup whether or not it has really dug in to the point where Major League Soccer and just the sport, the professional game itself, has really dug in and grown roots. It is the most popular youth sport in the country. North Carolina leads the country in youth soccer participation, where it is huge here. An incredible culture for it. But what we haven't yet grabbed is the passion for the pro game the way they have it everywhere else. We have a lot more options, obviously. A lot more options. All right, let's run it back. I don't want to start. I'm going to talk hockey here. Jessica Charman in about 15 minutes. So Freddie Anderson is now in Edmonton. Good contract for him. Opportunity to maybe help that franchise take a step they haven't taken in a while. Although they, not this past season, but played for and lost the two previous Stanley Cup finals. Goaltending has been a problem. I'm not sure goaltending is the problem, but once again, it's easy to blame the goaltender when your team doesn't defend for crap. And that's essentially what Edmonton's problem has been, and what Toronto's problem was when Frederik Andersen played for the Maple Leafs. Come to Carolina, where defending is not frowned upon, different story. He played great here, won a Stanley Cup here. Wish Frederik Andersen all the best. Hurricanes are now still trying to figure out what to do with Alexander Nikishin. Now, I've said before, many, many times, for me, I think the best case scenario is to sign him to a bridge contract and see what he is in year 2. See how much closer he is to getting to where you can see the light. Okay, that's going to be a top pair defenseman. They may already think that that's not ever going to happen, in which case they'll move him in this offseason. I don't know that Carolina's going to get involved in any offer sheet business. I'm not sure there's another player out there that Carolina should offer sheet that they would end up getting. Keep this in mind. If you really want the player in a restricted free agent situation, then you either have to grossly overpay the player, which is what Carolina did with Montreal to get Jesperi Kotkaniemi, or you have to take advantage of a team that has no room at all and simply cannot match, which is what St. Louis did with Edmonton for 2 players a couple of years ago. And I don't know that there's a player out there or a team out there that is so cash-strapped that they would not match any offer. Think about this. Anaheim could easily match the $18 million a year given to Leo Carlsson. Easy. Even, like, if you go to their Puckpedia page right now, on their page, they are credited with Leo Carlsson's $18 million contract. That's part of their salary cap number. They haven't matched the offer yet, but it's on their page. And they still have $10 million in cap room. Most of the league, not all, but most of the league is in that kind of position. Even Dallas can do some things within the salary cap. And they have Jason Robertson, who's going to be probably a $14 million average annual value. That's going to be a huge cap hit. So I don't even know if Jason Robertson is available. I think he might be. You could offer sheet him. Yeah, because I think they were talking about a deal with Seattle. Who knows? Doesn't matter. If you are Carolina, there's really nobody out there that would demand that you should do that with. What I would like to see them do with Nikishin, I already told you what I'd like to see them do, but I do think that they are seeing what's out there in terms of, can we get another forward? Can we get another center? Can we get a defenseman who is a right-sided defenseman? Because it's possible part of Carolina's decision-making is he can't play the right side. He can only play the left side. And he's never going to be better for us than Miller or Slavin. And if that's the case, you can't pay $8.5, $9 million a year for somebody to play on your third pair. That's the bottom line. And maybe that's the determination that they're making. That Nikishin just isn't going to ever play ahead of Miller and Slavin, which I could see. Slavin and Nikishin are very different players. Miller also different, but Miller is also 25. Slavin is already 30. The age disparity between Slavin and Nikishin would give Nikishin a little bit of a leg up, except that you don't get a leg up on somebody as good as Slavin. Doesn't add points, I get it, but he subtracts them. And that is, especially to the philosophy of the Hurricanes, as important as adding points. So they're probably looking at how do we best use Nikishin to make this team better today and 3 or 4 years from now. That's what I guess that they are going to do. But again, I'd bridge him and buy the year because I think that you might get a much better player than we had a year ago. I don't think you get a worse player, but I think it's worth it to buy the year, especially if there isn't an automatic, obvious fit. That guy makes us better, whether it's a forward or a defenseman or a goalie. But it also does kind of bring up the point where you can make an argument that with the cap going up, that $8.5 million a year isn't that bad for a goaltender with the pedigree of Connor Hellebuck. Then all you got to do is figure out, well, he hasn't been great in the postseason. Is what it is. But I think that Carolina can certainly, it's easier to put an $8.5 million contract on your books, especially when you're as far below the cap as Carolina already is. All right, let me move on to one other thing. This is a fun thing. And we're going to talk about this later with Matt Brown. But I saw Dan Wetzel put this on Twitter from ESPN columnist, does a college football podcast for the Worldwide Leader. He's been on this show many, many times. Dan Super was trying to find college football comparisons, correlations to World Cup teams. And because we are going to talk about this with Matt Brown, Matt and I came up with the exact same example for this. So Dan Wetzel, as Brazil lost to Norway yesterday, Wetzel was like, Brazil's won 5 World Cups, but they are I don't think they've been past the round of 16 like in the last 4 World Cups or something like that. It's been a minute for Brazil. It's probably longer than that. And Dan Wetzel was trying to come up with a college football equivalent for what Brazil has become. And the first thing I thought of was, that's Southern Cal. Historically, one of the best college football programs in the history of the sport. And fairly recently was still a giant in the sport. You go back to the 20 years ago, they were still a giant in the sport. And they are a giant in name today, but not in practice. That's what Brazil is. Still a huge name, commands a huge footprint in the game, but no longer really. I didn't think they'd beat Japan in the round of 32. I didn't believe they'd beat Norway yesterday. Now, they managed to beat Japan. Could not survive Erling Haaland and company yesterday. They scored. Their only goal was scored with a late stoppage time penalty that Neymar scored. So it's just not the same for Brazil. They're not the same. So, and to me, that was just a fun exercise. Like, who's France now? Is France Ohio State? Is France, because France is just an absolute machine. They're probably Ohio State. I know Indiana won the most recent title. Ohio State won the year before, right? And Ohio State seems to be in it, at the top of it every year. A few years ago, we were talking about that being Alabama. But that's what France has become. They are Ohio State. And I just think it's a very cool for those of us, if you're looking for ways to engage non-soccer fans who are into the World Cup, it's a good way to do it. Feel free to do it on your own. All right, when we come back, was the FIFA decision to allow Flo Balogun to play just? Does it matter? We'll talk about that and the England-Mexico match with Jessica Sharman next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
According to NFL players in the NFL Top 100 voting, Bryce Young is the 98th best player in the league, inside the top 100. Regardless of how this season goes, that's going to look really wrong a year from now. Either it'll go well, they'll pay him $50 million a year, he'll be top 50, or it'll look really, really ridiculous that he was ever in the top 100.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
August 11th is National 811 Day. 811 is the first step to getting your buried underground utilities like gas, electric, or internet lines located. Having these lines marked before digging helps keep you, your family, and your neighborhood safe. Play it safe when you plan on digging and call or click 811 3 working days before you dig. Learn more at nc811.org. Sponsored by North Carolina 811 and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with this station.
When you own your own business, you own every decision.
Catch the red eye or take the 6 a.m.
Make a new hire or promote internally.
Celebrate a win with a toast at the gate or unwind at the lounge. Big props to this team.
Some decisions are a win-win, like earning 8 times points on Chase Travel. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member of FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
A Courage legend is coming home. Saturday, July 11th at 6:30 p.m., the North Carolina Courage take on the Washington Spirit for a special Ring of Honor night, celebrating former NC Courage defender and U.S. Women's National Team star Crystal Dunn. Be there as Courage Country honors her incredible impact on the club, the sport, and the next generation of players. With great value seats, free parking, and no ticket fees when you buy online, it's an easy night out for the whole crew. Secure your seats now at tickets.nccourage.com.
Are they ready? Are you ready? Giving your child their first phone is an important and often difficult decision. After all, it is a milestone in your child's development. The Phone Ready quiz from the American Academy of Pediatrics can help make this decision easier. Go to healthychildren.org/Phone Ready quiz to take a short questionnaire developed by pediatricians that'll help you decide if you and your child are ready, almost ready, or not yet ready for their first phone. And get tips about how your child can develop a healthy relationship with technology. So, are they ready, almost ready, or not yet ready? What about you? Go to healthychildren.org/Phone Ready quiz today. Just 10 short questions can help you find out. That's healthychildren.org/Phone Ready quiz.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
It's a hot spot on your dog's leg that the internet says you can treat it at home. You're not sure though, 'cause now it's oozing.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Ooh, he's licking it. Super gross, dude.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
This is Adam Gold.
Steve Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house, they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. 8 o'clock tonight, USA Belgium. Round of 16. Last time we played Belgium at the World Cup, it was a round of 16 match. It did not go well for the U.S. I don't think the U.S. was nearly as good as they are today. And they're even better because Fuller and Balogun will be allowed to play. We'll start there with Jessica Sharman, Apple TV presenter of Major League Soccer and Jess Talks Footy on Twitter. My feeling is that I'm glad he's playing, but it feels a little dirty to me. So I'm hoping that the karma police will not jump up and bite the United States in the rear end.
Have you ever had something that you love and hate at the same time?
Yes.
I feel like this is my emotion right now. I am very happy for Flo. I'm very happy for the U.S. men's national team because this team has been very endearing during their run. They've been exciting. But I'm also very torn because now the outside perception. I've been so excited as someone that has obviously got so many connections in Europe, so many connections in the UK, to see the whole mind shift. The mindset has shifted towards the United States national team. There had been so much respect, so much endearment towards the USA, so much of, wow, the U.S. really has grown. The U.S. really has got better at the beautiful game. And now I will tell you, you search anything, on social media right now, and I know social media will make your brain rot, but the whole perception has changed now.
Yeah.
Everyone is rooting for Belgium. It went from the U.S., let's have the home team make a great run, to the home team has an unfair advantage. And I have heard it best described as Pandora's box has now been opened. Because what has happened now is because there has been an unprecedented rule, and I know people are saying, well, it was the same for Ronaldo. No, it wasn't. Ronaldo served a one-game suspension already, and it didn't happen just 3 days ago. It just means that now you've seen there's a MP in England writing a letter to FIFA right now saying they want England's suspension being posted. There's the France national team saying they want Elise's yellow card withdrawn. And once you open it for one side, particularly a side that is a host nation, it adds the asterisk towards the U.S. And now my fear is I want the U.S. to win tonight. But my fear is, and maybe Americans will say, we don't care what the world says.
Right.
But it does dirty the result from the outside, at least.
No, I agree. And, you know, I said yesterday when I saw the decision that, like, to me, it's great and terrible at the same time. In that it's great because, first of all, like, I know this shouldn't play a role in the decision. I thought it was a terrible red card decision. You go back and you look at the play that the contact initiated by the Bosnian defender.
They should have never used slow motion. I'm
Right.
there for that. I think that, again, VAR should not be used for something that is not clear and obvious. We talked about that the last time we were together. The issue is VAR intervened. The referee went to the monitor, and he said red card. So it has now gone through two checks and balances on paper, right? VAR said, I think this is a red card. The referee said, okay, this is a red card. And I think the interesting thing is Flo Balogun still deserves so much credit. I think that he has been the most classy person of anybody in this entire process. If you have a chance to read his comments post-game and how he says that I care so much about my perception to boys and girls and being a role model, he's been brilliant. But at the end of the day, I feel like he was gracefully accepting the punishment, right? And now it's like, it's really hard to take because I love it for Flo in terms of him getting to play, but I'm very worried about what this sets. And you've seen the response. I mean, UEFA, the governing body of European football, has come out and said, this is dirty. The entire World Cup, the word corruption is being thrown around. There are a lot of journalists in Europe that are saying bribery. And that's when it starts to get scary in terms of this World Cup in America has been so amazing, right?
Yeah,
there
it really has
so
been
many
good.
people that have said this World Cup has been better than any other World Cup. You've seen the scenes of togetherness. So many foreigners have come to the U.S. and said, wow, I wasn't sure what to make of the U.S. Now I love it. And now there's this dark stain on it. And I wish there wasn't this stain on it. It's ideally, the red card would have never been given. But once the red card was given, let's just follow the procedure. I think the U.S. could have still beaten Belgium. I said it on TV yesterday. I still think the U.S. was going to beat Belgium without Flo. And so it's tough. It's tough.
There's no doubt. This has been an incredible World Cup from a lot of different standpoints. We have 48 as opposed to 32 teams. It has given us so many great matches. What we saw last night, I said before, Jessica Sharman is joining us here, Apple TV's presenter of Major League Soccer at Jess Talks Footy. I can't speak suddenly. I thought there are 4 home teams.
You're like Harry Kane.
I get, oh my gosh. At least I can project a little bit. Harry was completely out of voice, and I'm going to get to that. To me, there are 4 home teams at this World Cup. There's the U.S., obviously. There's Mexico, obviously, but I think there's also England and Argentina. These are the 4 most popular teams at this World Cup. One eliminated one of the others yesterday in one of the most compelling football matches I have ever watched. It was contentious. There were strange occurrences. We had great play. We had I don't even think controversy, but we had 2 penalties awarded. I didn't have a problem with either one. But England eliminates Mexico in Mexico City. First time in like 13 years they had lost at that stadium at the Azteca. What was that match like for you watching it?
Painful. Painful. I mean, I'll be honest, it was an emotional roller coaster. There was a point after Bellingham scored the second goal within 90 seconds
right,
where I had this big sigh of relief, and I was like, yeah, this is cruise control now. I texted a bunch of friends like, oh, I can breathe now. I got a bunch of texts like, oh, England's game now. And then Mexico scored, and I started to feel a little nervous. And then one of the stupidest tackles I've ever seen for the red card. I know Thomas Tuchel said, oh, well, the referee didn't see it. He didn't even give a foul on the pitch. How come it's a red card? It's a red card.
Yeah.
This is the irony is this is what people that were saying Flo Balogun's red card was a red card, that they were arguing his tackle was. I mean, when you talk about going in recklessly, when you talk about going in with speed, and okay, it was a rainy day at Azteca, so that grass was slick. I think Kwanzaa mistimed it, and it was an emotional moment, but that's a red card every day of the week for me. Once you went to the monitor, it was a red card. Then I panicked. Then I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be very, very difficult. I'm very proud of the way that England battled it out. I tactically, at the time, thought that it was absolutely nuts to be parking the bus for what turned out to be, I believe, with the 11-minute stoppage time, of almost half an hour of football playing with the back five. I mean, England didn't touch the ball. It was literally just onslaught after onslaught, but tactically they got it right. So it wasn't pretty. It was exciting to an extent, and once you get through it, you take a breath of fresh air. But I got to give a lot of credit to Mexico. Like, again, another nation that has really grown, because even though we associate Mexico with soccer, they have had such a turbulent time. You know, it was really cool to see this evolution of the Mexican national team. And I also loved, because there is a stigma against Mexican national team fans. There's a lot of concerns about how the environment would be between Mexican and English fans. It was great to see the scenes after the game and the love and respect between two fan bases that had seen, I would say, bar Argentina, Cape Verde, the best game of the tournament so far.
Argentina, Cape Verde was absolutely incredible. I mean, the fact that Cape Verde kept coming back was just awesome. But I'm curious, what did you think of the France-Paraguay match? Because I'm not sure I have seen a dirtier team. I mean, maybe ever. I could not believe that they played 100 some odd minutes, and Paraguay had 0 yellow cards. I could make an argument they could have had a red or 2, as opposed to no yellows, and France gets the only 3 bookings of the match.
Yeah, firstly, I think you look at the referee for that, and I thought that was a really weirdly refereed game in terms of the fact that he didn't find the balance and he allowed Paraguay to play in that game. Anyone that's watched CONMEBOL soccer understands that this is a style of play.
Right.
I was expecting it to be chippy. I was expecting it to be, quote-unquote, negative football. They weren't going to come into it. The only mindset of Paraguay, similar to what they did with Germany, was let's get to extra time.
Right.
Maybe nick a goal on a counter, perhaps, but let's just limit France. I like this test for France, though, honestly. I think it makes France a better team in the tournament, because now they've had to learn how to face adversity, how to be kind of kicked around and bullied in a match. And in the end, I do love that France came out winners, because it's one of those where we like to say the ball doesn't lie, right? And in the end, the team that plays better football came out the winners. I know there's a lot of Paraguayans that I know that will say, look, we were allowed to do it. We came in with a tactic. I don't love it. But the level of quality wasn't there. And I was a little disappointed in a couple of former MLS players, in Matias Galaza, who was the number 23, if anyone will remember. He was involved in quite a lot of those moments. Didn't endear himself very well to the French population. But yeah, it wasn't a pretty game. I'm glad France got through in terms of for football purists. But sometimes when you're a weaker team, you have to try and find tactically how you're going to handle it. And that's what they went for. And the referee needs... I blame the referee just as much as Paraguay, honestly, because if you're given a long enough leash, it's yours to capitalize on.
I don't blame Paraguay at all. I don't blame the tactics at all. That was the only way they were going to have a chance to beat France. You do what you have to do to win a match. And they did that to Germany and succeeded. They were dirty against Germany and just happened to get into extra time after the goal.
And that's where the referee needs to learn, right? And we get an opportunity with MLS to talk to pro regularly, and they watch back teams' games. They watch them back, not to get biases, but to kind of understand styles, to understand things like that, because you do have to be aware of it. And surely that referee understood the context of the match. These referees are the top-level referees, and I know that there's some people will be like top-level referees in inverted commas, but they're at the World Cup for a reason. Top referees understand the game at a tactical level. That's what makes the best referees. The best referees, they might not have played at the highest level, but they understand it as a tactical level. They should have expected Paraguay to handle the game in that manner, and they should have realized that if you give an early yellow card to Paraguay, if you punish the first tackle that warrants a yellow with a yellow instead of being like on the side of leniency, that forces them to adjust, and the game doesn't get out of hand in that manner.
All right, final thing for Jessica Sharman. MLS TV on Apple, as well as Jess Talks Footy, also Sirius XM. Spain, Portugal is the undercard. It's amazing. Spain, Portugal, the undercard for the United States and Belgium this evening at 8:00. Part of me thinks that the dream of a Ronaldo's final World Cup doesn't end tonight, even though the sum of Portugal's parts aren't as good as Portugal's parts.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings because, honestly, I was kind of gutted for Croatia, if I'm honest. I still have difficulty to see that Portugal progressed out of the group. I feel like there are moments where Portugal looks fantastic. They still have quality players that can hurt you. Ronaldo, despite all of his limitations, can still have moments, right? I don't think he's at all of the level that we expected into this World Cup. There was a hope that he would have, because he takes care of his body, be at the same level. He's just not there. It's a bit sad at times to see. I think Spain are fantastic, but if Portugal can keep this game close, anything can happen. I like the matchup if USA could get through to play Portugal.
Same.
I've seen every graphic under the sun be like, this is the pathway for the US, and it's Belgium, Spain. And I think that's kind of disrespectful, honestly, to overlook. There's still a match to be played between Portugal and Spain. Spain has quality, but Portugal still has a lot of experience and veteran presence on their shoulders, right? And I know the rhetoric around it is Portugal doesn't have the same camaraderie of we want to do this for Cristiano Ronaldo that maybe Argentina has, or we want to do this for Lionel Messi. I still wouldn't put it past them to want to do it for people like Bruno Fernandes as well, right? Because he's not getting any younger. So we'll see. I just think what a night of football, right? I just can't wait to sit down and start watching football, honestly.
Yep, we got about an hour and a half until Spain and Portugal battle for the Iberian Peninsula crown, but I don't think they're giving one out. The last time they met competitively, though, was the Nations League final 2 years ago, which Portland and Ronaldo won in penalties. Jessica Sharman, Apple TV, MLS coverage at Jess Talks Footy on Twitter. Thank you very much again. Best to you. Talk to you soon.
Anytime, guys. And I'm all USA all the way tonight. USA, USA. Have a good one.
Same to you. Our Jessica Sharman here on the Adam Gold Show. It's possible to be thrilled and, torn at the same time. It's all right to have both of those emotions kind of running through your body at the same time. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll stretch. We'll place bets on the other side. Lots to do. Again, we understand that pressure was applied to FIFA. FIFA, they could pretend all day long that they didn't succumb to that pressure. But FIFA doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Is what it is. Take advantage of the gift, America. Let's go, Flo. Next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
There was a time when speed wasn't a sport, it was survival. The hills of Wilkes County made outlaws. Only one rule: don't get caught. That's one thing that hasn't changed. This July, short track chaos and nowhere to hide. Only now, it's a points race. Be there when it matters. The Window World 450, July 19th at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Get tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCAA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
I'm the threat that's already inside the house. In the closet, under the bed, in the car. But I don't want your money or your TV. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. I'm patient and quiet. I don't sleep. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire. And as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Secure all your guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
This is Adam Gold.
We're going to have Seth on the show next week when he gets back from vacation. He was by a pool. What are you doing? Get off Twitter.
It's nicer to be on Twitter when you're by a pool anyway.
No, just stop. Stop engaging with people.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Did you go to the Kelsey Swift wedding over the weekend?
I'm not allowed to say. I may or may not have signed things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, you know what? Totally understand. I don't want to put you. I don't want to jam you up. Put you in Tough position, Robin.
Right? Exactly.
So we got over the weekend. Somebody forwarded us an email about the show.
Yeah.
Apparently, we have fans in Charlotte who have become Hurricanes fans, and that's cool. We're all fans of winners.
Yeah.
Right?
Who doesn't love that?
Exactly. But yeah.
Damn.
I want to put you in a bad spot. I apologize.
Yeah. Confidentiality.
I did see something funny that they didn't get married. They got married Friday night, correct? Or did they get married Saturday?
I think. See, that's the. I thought they were getting married Friday, and then something said, "Yeah, no, they did. They got married Friday night." That was part of seventh inning. Is the bullet points of
Oh, okay.
said
We
wedding.
have that?
But yeah, I
Oh,
do.
man,
I've got actually a lot of details, but we don't have enough time for all the ones I've been reading.
I can't wait to hear that in a couple of minutes, and then we'll place bets. It's a great night if you're interested in the World Cup. I mean,
Yeah.
You remember the poll we did before the World Cup?
Oh, about
coming out of the
people's
Hurricanes,
interests?
right?
Mm-hmm.
And my timeline, and we don't talk about it a lot on the show. I try to include it in Place Your Bets. It's my outlet to, because we never talk about the Premier League or any of the other major European leagues. We will occasionally talk about the men's national team, things like that. We don't really do it. But that's my outlet to just my release to talk about it because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
This World Cup has captivated people. Now, again, I said this before. I don't know that it's going to manifest itself after. Like a women's soccer league, a pro women's soccer league began in the United States after the World Cup in '99, when Brandi Chastain took off her jersey after the penalty kick that won the World Cup, beating China. It launched I don't even remember the name of the league anymore, but it launched the Carolina Courage, that league. And they were around for a few years, and ultimately the business model wouldn't support it. It had vanished. And then it came back in what we have now, right? Again, born out of the success of not just the women's national team, but how the game had grown around the globe. A lot more high-level women's programs, national women's programs, than we'd ever had. It's no longer an automatic that the U.S. is going to win the World Cup, even get to a semifinal. There are many, many nations capable of beating the United States now. And that's progress. In similar ways, what we have in basketball, although I think the U.S. is still heads and shoulders above the rest of the world in that sport, certainly in the women's game. Men's game is a little closer. But somehow this feels a little different. It feels different because of how many people seem to be not only watching on television, but engaging other ways. So, well, again, we don't know. We won't know until really the couple of years after. Whatever happens here, does MLS grow? Does MLS expand again? Do we get some form of promotion and relegation? And I'm not an enormous proponent. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but I do understand that there comes a point where you stop just accepting. You can't accept failure in a system of promotion and relegation. As an as a club, if you accept failure, then you just keep dropping down, and ultimately your franchise dies. So that to me is the one element of promotion and relegation that really does matter. That it forces you. Like if Major League Baseball had it, how many teams would willingly just accept sucking? Can't do it. But we don't have that. It's not in American sports culture. It just isn't. It would be interesting to see it become part of the American sports culture, at least the American soccer culture. And I know that the USL is trying, they have plans to do something like that in the future. But I'm not sure that's going to work unless Major League Soccer is part of it. I mean, Major League Soccer is the best league in the world. Excuse me, best league in the United States. It's about the 15th or so best league in the world. But it's the best league in the United States. And USL can do all they want. They can have 3 levels of their league. It's not going to matter if Major League Soccer is not part of it. All right, well, time to stretch.
Okay, another thing that I know you're real super interested in is the hot dog eating contest.
No, did we have another one?
Yes. And with our 4th of July tradition that happens in New York, Joey Chestnut is the 18th Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
No way.
Winner. I know, the title stays with him. This time, he did not beat his record from 2021, where it was 76 hot dogs. However, this time, it was 66 hot dogs in 10 minutes and also 90-degree heat at Coney Island. I feel like that has to impact you because I know when it's super hot, like, I don't really feel like eating a lot of food or anything really heavy, so I can't even imagine. It just got a new level of gross once you add the 90-degree heat. So there's that. He also won the mustard yellow belt, which is worth $10,000. And the second place, in case you were curious how close his competitor was, I believe this guy was also second last year. Patrick Bortoletti, he got 51. So
really?
There was quite the gap between second and first. So Joey didn't really have to eat that many of them. But whenever Joey retires, this Patrick guy's probably a shoo-in. So Joey, he said afterward, now this is not part of the quote that's mentioned in here, but I did watch it, even though it is gross. But at the end, the interview, he said he still had room afterward.
Gosh. How?
I know. How? That's what I said. I'm like, wow. Of course someone would eat 66 hot dogs and still have room. But he said, eating here on the 4th of July is a dream. It's electric. There's no better place on earth.
It was hot, too, wasn't it?
It was 90 degrees. So
well, 90 degrees is cool compared to what it was over 100 on the field in Philadelphia.
It's just gross. It's just bad.
Yeah.
It's just hot. The house can't even keep up with the heat. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, on the women's side, same winner. This is her 12th time in a row. Mickey Sudo, she won the women's contest. She only ate, which I didn't realize you could do halves, quarters, all this stuff, but she won by 38.75 hot dogs. So didn't realize that you could have 38 3/4, but here we are. So she also is taking the title. I cannot do this competition.
Could you bet on it? I don't think FanDuel had a line.
I don't know if they did or not, but I feel like somewhere you can. I mean, I don't know if it's like,
Exactly.
Yeah. One of those. Joey from down the street betting, but yeah, I don't know. So I did not partake in that. However, did you see the dog contest afterward, which I don't know why they got rid of the fun.
Dogs eat hot dogs as well? That's, by the way, cannibalism.
They could. They could. Hot dogs eating hot dogs. But no, it was this competition where they jump into the water.
Oh, I love those.
I do too.
I can watch those forever.
I hate
way
it.
better. Are you a Westminster Kennel Club watcher?
No,
I am.
I
love it.
I mean, I love all
beauty
dogs.
pageant for dogs.
So it is totally a beauty pageant. But they used to do the obstacle course where you'd weave in and out of stuff and do all that after the Macy's Day. Then they got rid of it. But here you can watch them jump into pools.
Love it. Yeah, no, they run and they jump try to get as far as they can. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome.
I so many happy doggos. I love watching.
I love watching dogs do fun things.
I know. You know what else I love? making winning bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, let's go. I mean, I think I've done fairly well for people so far during the World Cup. We'll give people 3 different winners today.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm going to look at some baseball. So, Rockies are in LA taking on the Dodgers. Since I mentioned Shohei Ohtani earlier, why not go with the Dodgers at home? And I'm going to take the over 9.5. It doesn't feel like a tough ask. So take the over 9.5 is plus 155.
All right, we're going to start with the first match today. 3 o'clock, it's Portugal and Spain. I like Portugal to pull off the upset. Pedro Neto, anytime goal scorer, plus 1970.
Okay, so I'm not trying to actively go against your Mets. However, I did look
Why would anybody bet on them?
I did look at the series, and they've won 1 out of the past 3. So this is the last one to close the series. I feel like the Braves at home are going to win this one. I'm going to go with the over because maybe they'll go crazy again. Over 9 is plus 215.
All right, USA, Belgium tonight, 8 o'clock. United States to win. Flo Balogun to score because loud noises when he does. Both teams to score. I think the U.S. will win this match 2-1 or so. That is plus 301.
Okay. And last but not least, New York Yankees are going to be in Tampa Bay taking on the Rays. Give me the Yankees on the road, and I'm going to take the over 7.5 plus 245.
All right, let's do tomorrow's noon match is Argentina and Egypt. I don't know why Argentina is only minus 750. This feels like it should be larger. Lionel Messi will be the first goal scorer. That is plus 200. That's the most value I can get out of this match. Lionel Messi, first goal scorer, plus 200. Argentina, Egypt, tomorrow. Tomorrow. Wall of sound, including from the White House. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WREL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals, now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on a select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Hey friends, Paul Lyhander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. And on the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game. Because sometimes your player gets subbed off and, your bet goes with them, but not anymore. We've got this thing now called FanDuel's Super Sub. That's right, Super Sub. Eat that one up, folks. If your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. So if your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute with FanDuel's Super Sub. Say it with me again. FanDuel's Super Sub. So you're in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com/Paul and get started now. FanDuel.com/Paul. That's Paul with a capital P. FanDuel's Super Sub. Just another reason to dig in with FanDuel. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You're listening to the Financial Safari News Network.
From Coach Pete's Money Desk, America's wealth coach and author of the book, The Big Book on Retirement, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach, help us visualize the importance of having a foundation in our retirement.
If all your money's in risk, you don't have a foundation at all. So it's sort of like we used to build tree houses back in the day. The tree house is fine until the wind blew, or maybe we didn't have enough wood on the bottom and you go right through there, or the tree falls down. So how solid is a tree house? It's not solid forever, right? Whereas the pyramids in Egypt, are they still there? They're still there. They have a solid foundation. So if you look at the core, that's what the core is. It's that foundation of the pyramid. Picture this pyramid has 3 different points to it. It's got the top and it's got the 2 on the bottom. The top point we call growth. The one on the left side, we call that liquidity, and on the right side, we call safety. So that's the pyramid. There's 3 points of your pyramid of life.
Call 888-456-7577, 888-456-7577, or text ZONE to 600-700.
Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
We don't want you on our team.
You're not the right fit for this job.
You're too slow and fast.
Don't you care how you look?
Weight bias hurts. Go to stopweightbias.com. A public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I think they need to come out hot. That's exactly what they've done in those most impressive performances that we've seen so far. It's about getting out, getting a lead, and then being able to defend that lead and maybe catch Belgium on the break. But for the US, it's bringing that energy, bringing that 12th man as well. We've seen how brilliant the fans are, and just trying to get that edge early on in this tie and capitalise it on as the game goes on.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I want to thank Jack. We'll just thank Jack. Sent a letter, wrote a letter to the show.
Oh, wow. Old school letter.
Old school letter. I don't want to get into the contents of it, but big fan. Big Hurricanes fan. The question was about parking, and it's gonna be expensive to park, and that is unfortunate that it costs that much to park. But you know what? I don't really know the answers to all of this. I do know that when you get to the playoffs, everything is more expensive.
Yeah.
And we'll just leave it there. But thanks to Jack for taking the time to write.
I know, snail mail.
People don't even do email anymore.
I know. But like old school snail mail, I love that. Because who doesn't love getting something in the mail that's not a bill? Like, let's do that.
I get a lot of stuff in the mail from our friend Ernie.
Love Ernie.
Yeah.
I don't get anything in the mail from Ernie, but sometimes I see what he's sending you.
It's true. That is true.
I see that he sent you things.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite human beings on the planet.
He's awesome.
Shouts to Ernie.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I hate the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Right. More than anything, I hate the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But I do have a list of Cardinals fans that I don't hate.
Mm-hmm.
Even Cardinals fans that I love.
Yeah.
And he is on that list.
Yes, of course.
So there's only like 4 of them.
Mm-hmm. He's on the Mount Rushmore, so it's a privilege.
He is in the position of George Washington.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's. I don't know. In the Wall of Sound, we're going to go. We have Canes. We have stuff from the White House. Yeah, we do. And it's all about sports. No big deal. You don't have to run away. Let's get to that next.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, we're going to start with hockey and the Carolina Hurricanes. Elliot Friedman, 32 Thoughts, the podcast. I haven't listened to the latest, so I am new to this. Can't wait to digest it on my drive home, although probably be listening to Spain, Portugal. But when will Rod Brind'Amour retire?
And he kind of tied it into Jordan Staal. So, Staal still has another year under contract. We'll see. He did say it was hard to see himself doing it before Staal. So we'll see. We know it's kind of like a year-to-year thing now.
All right, let me just say that what Elliot Friedman just said there, Victoria, you've heard me say this.
Yeah.
Been saying this for a long time. When Jordan Staal signed his contract now 3 years ago, 3 summers ago, 4-year deal. The following summer, Rod Brind'Amour's contract was up. And he signed what was termed by the team a multi-year deal. They did not say 3 years. They did not say 5 years. Around the league, it has been reported as 5 years. And while I'm not telling you that it isn't, what I am telling you is that after the first 3, I think it is very open-ended. Like, for all we know, the contract's 9 years. But I have always said the same thing. I believe Rod Brind'Amour's longevity as the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes is maybe directly tied to how many more years Jordan Staal wants to play. Now, if you're nervous about that, what did Rod tell us a couple of days after winning the Stanley Cup? That he thinks Jordan Staal is going to play for many more years.
Right.
So now he said it ain't going to be 10, but keeps himself in great shape. He could play another 3 years, 4 years without that much of a, bending your imagination. Now, maybe 4 years is a little bit on the, are you serious? But I think Jordan Staal is definitely playing this year. And unless he suffers through a very injury-plagued year, I think it's an absolute slam dunk. He is back for at least 1, maybe 2 more years. And after 3 years from now, I could certainly see a lot of people taking stock of where they are. But, yeah, I think, and I've always said this, I think they're absolutely tied together.
Yeah.
Brind'Amour and Staal.
It makes sense.
I mean, it's hard to imagine another captain under Rod Brind'Amour. The way he thinks about Jordan, just hard to imagine it. All right, here's more from Elliot Friedman on Carolina's depth on defense in the system and the potential maybe of moving Alexander Nikishin.
They've got some interesting young players like Carolina. They've got Bradley Nadeau, they've got Felix Unger-Sorum, they've got Charles Alexis Legault. He's a defenseman. So is Joel Nystrom, who played 38 games with them this year. Like, Carolina has some young guys who are ready, just not a lot of spots in that roster on a team that just won the Stanley Cup.
All right. Felix Unger-Sorum, Bradley Nadeau. I'll throw in Justin Robidas because he had a very good year for Chicago. Those are the 3 main candidates to at least fill the roster spot of Seth Jarvis for however long Carolina is going to be without him. Depending on which you want to believe, the 4 months or the 6 months, that's the range that they expect him out after shoulder surgery. I just think it's proper when you're talking about a shoulder to err on the high side. And 6 months takes him out until December. So let's just assume you're going to play the first 2.5 months of the season without Jarvis. if you're not going to go out and get a piece, which they could do, and you're just going to promote from your roster of prospects, then Nadeau and Felix Ungersorum, probably the two leading candidates, both had good years. Ungersorum is becoming a very good player. So it's probable that one of those two, and again, I'll throw Justin Robitaille in because we've seen him at the NHL level and he's looked the part. And maybe even a more well-rounded player than either of the other two. But Ungersorum is progressing as a winger, so is Nadeau. We already know that the offense is elite. So I get it. On defense, Charles Alexis Legault, Joel Nystrom, no doubt that they are part of the future. Nystrom is more NHL ready than Legault is, at least at the last we saw. My fear with Nystrom is that we know that he's nothing better than a third pair. Like, he's a smart player, but he's not going to play in your top four. Legault, because of the way he can play physically, has a chance to elevate his game, but the rest of it isn't there yet. So I think Carolina's better bet is to find, if they're not going to use Alexander Nikishin in that role, to find another veteran right-handed defenseman to pair with Shane Gostisbehere. We will see. All right, now to the Flo Balogun stuff. So real quick before we get to the White House, a couple of things from reporters. Sam Farley from the Action Network also works for, I believe, Covers. For those people who are into sports wagering, you understand the company. But he's a reporter. He's also British. And from Mexico, he filed this.
This, for my money, is one of the most disgraceful things in World Cup history. So, look, let's start at the top. Firstly, I have to caveat this by saying, for my money, it shouldn't have been a red card. We saw Messi do something just as bad that wasn't a red card, but it was a red card. The player didn't appeal. The player accepted it. He's spoken about accepting it. And for FIFA to change this is ridiculous. And particularly with the fact it sounds like there was political intervention from the White House. FIFA and politics don't mix. That is something Gianni Infantino has spoken about a lot. So, look, should it have been a red originally? Probably not, no. But those are the rules, and you simply cannot change the rules mid-tournament. It's outrageous. Now, if you're an American fan, I don't blame you for celebrating. I'd be doing the same thing. But for everybody else, I think this is disgraceful. It's going to turn a lot of countries against the host nation. I think most of us always want the host nations to go as far as they can in a tournament until they play our team. But ultimately, it's a disgrace. I think it could have a seismic impact going forward because there's been talk about boycotts from FIFA for a couple of years now. Federations constantly getting annoyed by some of the outrageous decision making. And this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back because it is simply outrageous. But look, we're going to see how the US do with Balogun. I wish him all the best. It's going to be a good game, but he frankly shouldn't be playing.
All right, now what Sam Farley is really talking about there is the fact that, and I just read a really good piece on ESPN about it, that two things can be true at the same time. And that we can be excited that Flo Balogun is playing. We can recognize that the red card was a terrible call and that the process to arrive at the red card was improper. We can agree with all of that, but also understand that, hey, sometimes life gives you lemons. And that's what the World Cup gave the United States. And they dealt with it. And again, it all depends on whether or not you believe that political pressure was applied. If you don't, hold on a second. I believe that political pressure was applied, which is, by the way, against FIFA's rules, but never mind FIFA's rules, because FIFA doesn't really have any rules. It's FIFA. They are, other than the IOC, well, I shouldn't say other, they're way more corrupt than the IOC, but the IOC is like, how do we keep up with FIFA? remember, they looked the other way as Qatar made them move the World Cup to December. Saudi Arabia is going to do the same thing. They used essentially slave labor to build all of their stadiums. They don't even use the stadiums anymore. Anyway, the whole thing was a complete mess. But FIFA is just corrupt. Everybody understands that, even though they pretend otherwise. Anyway, so two things can be true. We can be excited that Balogun is playing and really kind of ticked off at how we got to here. That's all this is. It's okay to have both things be true at the same time. Now, if you don't believe political pressure was applied, here is the White House earlier today.
And this referee, who is a little bit suspect, if you check his past, I don't want to say that because I don't like to create controversy, but very suspect. If you'd like, I'll provide you with the past. He made a call that nobody could believe. You know, even people on the other side, they say, "Oh, we got lucky. Wow, that's." And it's very interesting. They say they don't show them in slow motion, and I never realized that. I never heard of that before. That they're not allowed to review in slow motion because it's so different. Because you'll take one little quarter of a second and you'll see that a hand is touching a neck, or you see something. Whereas when you see it in fast motion, it will look like two guys collided, which is really what happened. They got sort of entangled. He didn't do anything wrong, and he's our best player or one of our best players, a very vital player. And he gave him a red card. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't think it meant much. Then I started hearing that means he can't play in the next game, at least in the next game. I said, boy, that's a big, if it happened to another player, it would have been unfair. But when they take your best player, or just about, they have some great players, and they say you can't play, that's very unfair. That's, it's one thing to penalize somebody for the game, but how do you penalize them for a game that hasn't been played yet? It's very unfair. You can't do that. So, yes, I asked for a review by FIFA. I spoke to a man who's highly respected, and by the way, whose level of respect has gone up tenfold.
All right, let's just address all the points there. We shamed the referee, which started happening a few days ago. Now we find out why, because it was an ongoing process from the White House. Andrew Giuliani, who's the liaison between the White House and U.S. Soccer, all of that. Are we talking like the referee made a bad call? Get in line. Every single referee's made a bad call. Doesn't necessarily make you a corrupt referee. Whether or not that referee was any good, he wasn't. That was a terrible call, right? But referee shaming, I got nothing for that. The process, the process was faulty. We've addressed that. That you should not be making the decision based on slow motion instant replay. Certainly not solely on that. And it appears that was what happened. Also, still photography. That doesn't wash for me. Two guys colliding. That's accurate. It's 100% what happened. Two guys coming together. Unfortunate thing happened. Move on. Which is the way they interpreted the Lionel Messi play from the first game in group stage. We just moved on. The Messi one was worse. In fact, I would argue the Messi one was much worse because Messi was trying to make a play on the ball. Balogun was just, I'm in position and you're coming through me. As for the red card and the penalty for a red card, that's like not knowing that holding in football not only negates the touchdown, but also cost you 15 yards. Well, they've just taken the touchdown away. Why did they also penalize you 10 yards? Because it's the rule? Because that's the way the rule is in the sport? That's why. Okay. We'll take a break. When we return, Matt Brown, extra points. We're going to talk a little bit about soccer, but also about college. We'll make some comparisons, how college sports and how the money is changing fans' perceptions. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Last weekend was 4th of July weekend, but have you really started your summer off with a bang? I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and one of my favorite summertime activities is breaking the motorcycle out and enjoying this beautiful weather and longer days. And if you did any traveling this past weekend, then you know you are not the only one with the idea of hitting the road for an adventure. Unfortunately, that creates more opportunity for someone to be distracted while driving and possibly cause an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault. However, if you are ever in this situation, always remember to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they understand everything. They know the value of your bike, your gear, and the investment that you've made. And with Law Tigers, case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. Tuesday! The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
The North Carolina Courage are back home Saturday, July 11th at 6:30 p.m. against the Washington Spirit, featuring one of the biggest stars in the league, Trinity Rodman. Make it a match day to remember from the Margaritaville Party Deck with unlimited food, all-you-can-drink non-alcoholic beverages, a cash bar, and a surprise guest appearance. Tickets start at just $80, so grab your crew and enjoy Courage Match Day with the Margaritaville State of Mind. Get your tickets now at nccourage.com.
When it comes to your roof, it's all about quality above with peace of mind below. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We're proud to be in our 20th year helping families and businesses keep the roof over their heads as economically as possible. We work on every type of roof, gutters, and skylights with quality repairs, maintenance, and replacements for your home, your business, and multifamily. We offer warranties with every new roof and financing options for homeowners. And we're now serving Southern Pines as well. Visit us to learn more at roofwerks.com.
At Penn Station East Coast Subs, your ears may hear, and your craving deep inside hears
premium meats grilled with fresh sliced veggies, topped with cheese and served melty hot, straight from the oven. You craving what I'm craving?
Earn rewards you crave with Penn Station Rewards. Earn points redeemable for free subs and favorites like fresh cut fries, fresh squeezed lemonade, and more. Penn Station.
Love your sub. Earn rewards you crave.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
I follow a lot of people on Twitter. I follow Matt Brown from Extra Points, Matt Brown EP on Twitter. And I saw this among all of the people who cover college sports. Basically, name a college football team or college basketball team and correlate it with a World Cup country. And I open up my email today, and there is my Matt Brown Extra Points newsletter in which he likens Brazil to exactly the same college that I did in response, I think, to Dan Wetzel on Twitter, Southern Cal. And I thought, we got to talk about this, among other things, with Matt Brown from Extra Points. How are you, sir?
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I'm doing better today than I was yesterday. Yesterday was not my favorite soccer game to watch as a fan of the Brazilian national team, but what can you do? This is giving me a new level of empathy, I think, for some of the college football programs that I like to make fun of.
All right, so for people who do not know, you have Brazilian heritage. I know you're because I follow you on Twitter and we communicate a lot. I know how you feel about the Brazilian national team. It's been a minute since Brazil has been really, really good. I actually had told a good friend of mine, Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News, that I expected Japan to win their round of 32 match, and it looked for a while until they decided to just sit back and absorb all the offense from Brazil. It looked like they were going to be able to do it, but the second half onslaught was way too much for them to deal with. But explain to me what, we'll get to the college aspect of this in a second, but explain to me as a Brazil fan what you're dealing with in what used to be the premier soccer nation in the world.
It's in some ways, Brazilians are arguing that they still are, even though that's clearly not the case anymore. So for those who are World Cup casuals, welcome. Brazil is historically the most successful country in international soccer competition.
Yes.
They have won the World Cup 5 times, which is more than everybody else. They've finished in the semifinals 6 times, which is more than everybody else, and they export more elite players to domestic leagues across the world, more than anybody else. Because it's not a small country, right?
Right.
Brazil's the seventh biggest country in the world, some of the largest markets in the world, and not only are they internationally famous for being good at soccer, they're internationally famous for being good at a specific kind of soccer. Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game.
Yes.
They're supposed to be inventive and fast and creative and score a bunch of goals. And so you have this pressure where you're not only supposed to win the World Cup or almost win the World Cup every single time, you're supposed to be cool and sexy while you do it, right? Like to the extent that international soccer has Hollywood, it's Brazil. This is
Right.
the country that has the biggest apparel contract. This is the one that gets some of the biggest sponsorship deals. But I'm sure you're all aware here, Brazil lost to Norway
Yes.
In the round of 16 yesterday. They have lost to a smaller European country before the semifinals in 5 out of the last 6 World Cups. And the one they didn't was the one that they hosted. They played Germany in the semifinals. We don't need to talk about that. That is an international, like a national tragedy. The biggest one where nobody died, I think, anywhere in South America. So now you have the situation where you have just massive expectations to win and to win with flair. And you have some of the best players in the world on the team. But there's a reason Brazil hasn't won a World Cup since 2002. This is not the best soccer team in the world,
Right.
and it hasn't really been for a couple of years. I think it's not crazy to suggest that there are at least one, if not multiple, starters on the U.S. men's team that would start for Brazil. And 20 years ago, I think that would have been unthinkable. It would be like suggesting that some guys for Tulane or Louisiana Monroe would start for Ohio State. Well, that's kind of where Brazil is right now, and all of that feels extremely USC to me.
Matt Brown, Extra Points, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So you bring up Southern Cal because that was the exact. I was trying to think of the college football equivalent, and I came up with the exact same one. Now, full disclosure, I grew up in the New York area. We didn't have a college football team to root for in the New York City area. Syracuse really isn't really a New York City team. Rutgers, I didn't even know existed athletically, even as a kid growing up. But I was a Southern Cal football fan, going all the way back to the player we should not name, but Marcus Allen and the student body right and the student body left Southern Cal was sexy, and they won. And then Pete Carroll brought them back, and they were sexier, and they won. And now they're just there, thinking that they're still good, even though they're not. But they're relevant enough, but they're really not as relevant as they should be. And that, to me, is the exact same thing that we're dealing with the Brazilian national team. So let me fold it into actual college sports here. And I know you did this in the newsletter, which is why everybody should subscribe to the Extra Points newsletter with Matt Brown. I don't know how a school like Nebraska, who used to be one of the gold standards of college football, it has been so long since that program has been, forget about what the record says, a national, not even a contender, but just nationally relevant. It has to be 20 years since Nebraska has been good. How do their fans, how do they pour money into NIL and keep up with the other schools in the Big Ten, the best schools in the Big Ten, when it's probably never coming back?
I think that is a huge existential question. And for Nebraska fans of a certain age, I think the answer is you can't, right? If you are a Nebraska fan and you're under 35 or you're under 30, your expectations have shifted, and you want to beat Minnesota, and you want to beat Iowa,
right,
and you want to be what Wisconsin was 10 years ago. And I think that's attainable. If you're in your 60s and in the back of your mind you still think like the benchmark that you're evaluating Nebraska is 1995, it will never happen again. And it will never happen not because Nebraska doesn't have enough money, but because the rules of the sport itself have changed. So many of the areas where Nebraska had a massive built-in advantage in the 70s, 80s, and 90s don't exist anymore. And I feel like almost every other shift towards the importance of television markets and urban areas, and now with how the House settlement money is going, all of them I think are uniquely positioned to hurt Nebraska. So it's not. I don't want to say it's exactly one-to-one related, but I don't think it's an accident that the school has also tried to continue to grow some of their other programs. Like Nebraska football is always going to be a cultural touchstone in that state, but it's not an accident you're paying real grown-up money for basketball and for women's volleyball and for softball, because you can't replicate that. And I think that's a massive challenge. I think it would be a massive challenge if you were at ECU. And Lord knows, you know this even better than I do. There are some of those fans there that still think it's 1993, and they're wondering why you're not beating NC State all the time, or why you're not in the ACC. Like, well, it's not 93 anymore, and we have to make peace with our current reality. I don't know a good way to do that, and I think Nebraska is a good example, because for the USC, we can both imagine a realistic path for USC to win another national title again in our professional lifetimes. I think there's a decent chance that will happen. Maybe not under Lincoln Riley, but again, I don't think we'll ever see Nebraska win one.
No, and it's funny. I was an AP poll voter back in the day, probably 25 years ago, and that was still at a time where Nebraska was still relevant. They were still finishing, at the end of the season in the top 10, top 15. It's been a minute since they have finished in the top 15. Actually, I'm just looking at it now. 2009, they ended the season 14th in the national rankings at 10-4. But before then, it was 2001 since they finished in the top 10. But it was a joke that I'm contractually obligated to vote Nebraska into the top 25 at some place because they were always in it. But times have changed so much. Matt Brown from Extra Points is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. And there's another element here. And I argued this back when they finally gave athletes costs of attendance, that there were schools within conferences that didn't want to do what the other schools were doing. So I argued that Iowa State and Texas, who were both in the Big 12 at the time, they could not operate the same way. And now it's probably worse than it was then because of the amounts of money that we are talking about. So I don't know what the future of conference affiliation is based on some teams being willing to compete financially and some not being able to do it?
It's a great point, and let me be careful with how I use these words here. But I can tell you that those kind of conversations at the mid and low major level, particularly in the college basketball world, are already happening.
Sure.
If you have a league like, let's say, for example, hypothetically, the A10, where the top end of those schools, your Daytons, your VCUs, your St. Louis's, are able to fundraise and have a house revenue sharing budget of over $10 million. And at the bottom end, no disrespect to LaSalle or Duquesne, those schools are more worried about staying open than they are trying to match dollar for dollar. That kind of gap does create, over time, existential problems. You're right. Iowa State has never done exactly what Texas has done, and they can't. But there were times in college football, particularly, when there were other ways to build that roster or other ways to build a competitive advantage besides just money. For a long time at Nebraska in the Big 8 era, it was because they had bigger rosters and they offered more scholarships than everybody else. Then they had the best walk-on program. Then they were the first school to invent steroids. Weightlifting, right? Like they did. Allegedly they used steroids. Who can say for sure?
Right.
And then other schools come to that too. Now I think the way that I think talent acquisition and talent retention and building a team is set up is becoming much closer to the NFL, where it's about money.
Yep.
And sure, playing time matters a little bit, and location and taxes and coaching relationship does, but it's overwhelmingly about money. And if that's the way that things go, then it becomes much harder for anybody to go back to how things were in the 70s or 80s, or to sustainably be successful following a different blueprint.
So let me ask you, we have like 2 minutes left here with Matt Brown from Extra Points. There are two schools, both in the SEC, that come to mind when I think about what was and what is. One is Oklahoma, who basically had the run of the Big 12 for years and years and years, and I think over time will probably settle into another SEC team that might be good, might be just not good enough to get to where they want to be. And Florida, who under, whether it was Steve Spurrier or Urban Meyer, was operating at the top of the food chain and now clearly is not. What do you make of the outlook of those two schools?
Those are two, I think really good examples. With Oklahoma, you're going to have a challenge in resetting fan expectations, because for decades and decades, Oklahoma would generally only play three colleges that had anything close to their level of talent over a course of a season. So 9-3 would be kind of a bad year. I wonder how if the expanded college football playoff will help this a little bit, where 9-3 means you go to the playoffs, and that could still be potentially successful. But yeah, over a 10-year period, is there going to be a huge difference between Oklahoma and Tennessee, Oklahoma and Auburn, Oklahoma and LSU? Probably not. Right. They have some advantages now, and I think that they have a better front office system than maybe some other schools. But who knows how big of an advantage that will be in a few years. Florida, I think, is another really good example of the Nebraska principle that I was talking about before. Florida, for most of college football history, Florida football didn't exist, right? Like their biggest moment prior to 1984 was like we were the first school to cause an international incident in Cuba and almost got our coach arrested, right? Like not actually competing for championships. They were able to kind of follow a similar blueprint that Miami did. And, hey, it turns out a bunch of really good football players live here. We should recruit, build a team around them. But now everybody recruits Florida. Minnesota recruits Florida. Yeah. Iowa recruits Florida. Central Connecticut State, along with every other major program. And just having a lot of money isn't necessarily enough either, because you can't you can't buy your way to success just with lots of staff, especially since everybody in the SEC has money. I could see a world where Florida wins a national title again, but not a world where we have the Steve Spurrier era again, and that's been very difficult for many Gator fans to stomach. Winning a college basketball championship during that stretch helps a little bit, but that is a good example of a school where the expectations where you're going to be judged against are not the world where you live in right now, for good or for ill.
No doubt. By the way, biggest impact maybe of University of Florida or University of Florida is, of course, Gatorade. Matt Brown, Extra Points, at Matt Brown EP on Twitter. Thank you very much. I guess go America for the rest of this World Cup for you. I appreciate your time always, sir. Hope you had a good holiday weekend, stayed cool, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Pleasure's all mine, my friend. Take care.
Matt Brown, Extra Points here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, when we come back, Dan Rosen from NHL.com. We had a longer conversation. We brought you half of it. We brought you the half where he was talking about the Hurricanes, and there's all of that will be available on the Best of the Adam Gold Show. But we also talked about that offer sheet that the Philadelphia Flyers laid in front of Leo Carlsson, who is a dynamite young player. And who knows, might end up being one of the top 5 players in the entire league. But he's not yet. 5 years, $18 million per. I've said this before about offer sheets. If you're gonna use the offer sheet as a weapon, you have to know that you are overpaying the player to the point where the other team can't match, or you are putting them in such a bad salary cap position that it hurts. Otherwise, you're not going to get the player. Philadelphia did the latter. Actually, did both. Still might not work. We'll talk to Dan Rosen about it next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It's the world's biggest soccer tournament. The trophy that they will hand out in July actually isn't a cup. It's not shaped like a cup, but it feels like a cup, although maybe you can't drink out of it. Anyway, FanDuel's got this great idea. It's called FanDuel Super Sub because it's hot and players do not play in general. Not a lot of players play the full 120 minutes if we go extra time. So if your guy gets subbed out, your wager stays on with the guy who comes in for him. It's called FanDuel Super Sub. It's a super idea. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Hey, for instance, France has a guy. He comes off the field. They bring a guy on. That guy's great. He scores. But if you had the other guy, you could still win. FanDuel Super Sub. Super. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
There was a time when speed wasn't a sport. It was survival. The hills of Wilkes County made outlaws. Only one rule: don't get caught. That's one thing that hasn't changed. This July, short track chaos and nowhere to hide. Only now, it's a points race. Be there when it matters. The Window World 450, July 19th at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Get tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Are you ready to make a difference? Become Mental Health First Aid certified with the Governor's Institute. This free one-day training will give you the skills to recognize, understand, and respond to mental health and substance use challenges. Whether you're a friend, coworker, or caregiver, you can be the support someone needs. athletes. The training is available in person or online and is open to everyone. No experience required. Take the first step today. Visit millvetacademy.org to learn more.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The extra help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what do we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. We talked to Dan Rosen earlier. Actually, we taped the conversation before the show. On our last conversation, we talked about the potential for Carolina going after Connor Hellebuck and what they might bring in a trade involving Alexander Nikishin. All of that is available, by the way, on the Best of the Adam Gold Show. But we actually began talking about this era of free agency. We're now 6 days into it. And while a lot of free agents were signed, there weren't a lot of good ones. It was a great free agent to be a fourth-line player because those guys all got overpaid. The amount of people who got money, like multi-year contracts, blew me away. And we all know Carolina doesn't really play in those situations. They certainly have in the past at times, but it really needs to work for them. Anyway, we talked about this with Dan Rosen, and among all the things we got to, we had to start with the Philadelphia Flyers 5-year, $18 million offer sheet to Leo Carlsson of the Ducks.
Yeah, I mean that's it right there. Like, you know, I love it, right? There's a new school general manager now. Carolina's got one, right?
Yeah.
Polsky. Danny Briere is one. And listen, I know he's a former player and all that stuff, but there's a new way of thinking around the league. It's come up over the last 5-10 years. It used to be that the offer sheet was frowned upon.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was used. And the question about it was like, if you did it, how would it affect your business with that particular team going forward? Well, I think these new school general managers don't care about that, nor should they, right? I mean, they are the ones, they should be doing the best thing possible for their team at that moment. And Danny Briere and the Philadelphia Flyers go out and they see an opportunity to get a number one center who's 21 years old, who's going to be a top player in this league for the next 10 or 15 years, and they offer him a contract that maybe he's not worth right now, but he will be in 2 or 3 years, if not even sooner than that. And that contract, with the way the business is going, is not going. It may look heavy now, but it won't look heavy later at $18 million a year. I think it's a brilliant move. It puts a ton of pressure on the Anaheim Ducks.
Yes, it does.
And if you ask me, the 4 first-round picks that it will cost the Philadelphia Flyers, there is no guarantee that any one of those guys will turn into Leo Carlsson.
Correct.
So I think it's a great move. Now I think Anaheim has to match it because he's that important of a player, and that contract will then look good for the Ducks in 2-3 years as well. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that go on with an RFA offer sheet, and the truth is, and it's in the CBA. There are rules on offer sheeting a restricted free agent, and it has been frowned upon by among GMs because they don't want to be on the other side of that, right?
Correct.
So Pat Verbeek didn't want to be on the other side of this. Look, there are a lot of things we can talk about, I guess, with regards to Pat Verbeek and the Anaheim organization that I have read that I really don't know about until I read them recently. So maybe they've put themselves in this position. But these rules are in place for a reason, and if I'm a player, the fact that these rules are being utilized to get Leo Carlsson into a tax bracket that he would have otherwise never been in, then that's good ultimately for players. Now we can get to Anaheim's situation. They have more, right? They have the defenseman Minchikov. They've got Cutter Gauthier. They've got to pay, and now they're out of money basically. Like they don't have they have enough money to pay Gauthier now, but that contract probably needs to be bigger than what they've got. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, I mean, when you slow play these guys, sometimes this is what happens, right? And they did get Minchikov done. Minchikov is a contract that's 5-year deal is done, but probably a little bit higher than they wanted to pay.
Very much.
You know? And I think there was the threat of the offer sheet there. Now, let's not – also, there was a report, I think it was Darren Drager at CSN, that 4 teams were offering Leo Carlsson.
Right.
4. So that tells you that the old school way of thinking of I'm not going to do it to you because I don't want you to do it to me is over. Right. That's over. And it's great for the players, but it's also good for the teams, and it's great. The chaos of it is great for us. I think it's the best of the whole thing. But you're right. So they do have Cutter Gauthier. Cutter Gauthier is 22 years old. He's a great goal scorer in this league. He's going to get paid. The Ducks are going to have to figure this out. And again, you're going to have to, there's going to be other moves that come around it. And let's not forget as well, Beckett Seneca is coming up in a couple of years too. Yes. He's going to have to get paid as well. So there are questions here for the Anaheim Ducks and how that all works out. Lacombe just got a deal, and Minchikov got a deal, and those deals might look pretty good down the road here if those guys pan out the way and play the way they're supposed to. It resets it a little bit, but listen, when you have a number one center in Leo Carlsson, to me, the moment he came into the league, he was Andrei Kopitar. That's to me that's who he is, and you got to pay that guy.
Right.
That guy is going to win you a Stanley Cup. He might win you 2. So you got to go pay that guy, and he's going to be worth that contract. And it's great for players. It resets the market a little bit for them. But we all have to, and I've gone over this many times with people, we all have to recalibrate our salary cap brain.
Thank you.
Because the cap is going up. And it is up now. We're at 104. We'll be at 113.5, right? I mean, It's going up. We have to recalibrate and understand that what looked like a tough deal 2-3 years ago is now going to look like a really good deal if that player is an impact player.
Dan Rosen, NHL.com, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I can't even fathom how this rising salary cap now makes the Jackson Blake contract, the Logan Stankoven contract, the Seth Jarvis contract, all of these things, how good those contracts look. And Blake and Stankoven's deals start this year. Jarvis, I believe, just played on his was it the second year or maybe first year of his? It's just incredible. And this is why you get ahead of it if you can. And the Hurricanes were at a point a few years ago where they weren't getting ahead of it. So Sebastian Aho was offer sheeted by Montreal. I always argued that the problem was not that Carolina overpaid Aho a little bit during that 5-year offer sheet contract, but that it was only 5 years. So I do wonder if, in fact, Anaheim matches, and I had read where they were going to not match it, but take the 4 draft picks, ship them to St. Louis for Robert Thomas, which would be a good pivot, not a great pivot, because I don't know that Thomas. Thomas is not Carlson, but that's what I had read that they were going to do. Anyway, my point is that even if they match, they've got to come back 4 years from now, or 5 years from now at the latest, and deal with Carlson again, where that the real poison pill in this was that it's only 5 years. And that's what I argued with Aho, is that, man, You could have just done the deal when you should have done the deal, and it would have been 8 at a slightly lower number, and then you don't have to come back until that deal is up.
You're right. You're 100% right, and that's the gamble that the Flyers are taking here, too.
Yes.
I mean, like that's the gamble here for the Flyers, but that also is part of what gets him to sign it.
Yep.
That walks him to unrestricted free agency. And it basically does, right? It's a 5-year deal. It basically walks him to that, and he's getting a huge deal now, and he's going to get it. I mean, it's a great deal for Leo Carlsson, but it's the risk you take. And listen, I'm a big-time believer that a general manager can't operate with the concern of 4 or 5 years down the road, because he may, if things don't go well, he's not going to be there 4 or 5 years down the road, right? So Danny Briere signs this. The Philadelphia Flyers do this, and they're not thinking of they are thinking of 4 or 5 years down the road. They're not worried about the next deal, because who knows where the cap's going to be at that point, what's going to be the situation, what the CBA is going to be at that point. And where he's going to be at that point, right? I mean, like, who knows? You got to do it now. And they're opening their window. The Ducks' window is open. The Flyers' window is opening. And this guy he's a meal ticket for those windows. I mean, like, he's the one that can do all of it for them because he's that good. I think we're going to see more. Honestly, I think we're going to see more. And you're right that the poison pill is a 5-year, but you got to do it. Like, can't be thinking too far down the road like that. When your window is opening now, the window doesn't stay open for very long. And by the way, I love Robert Thomas as a player.
Yeah.
I really do. Young, he's still very young in his career. He's in the prime of his years right now. I don't think he's worth 4 first-round picks, to be honest.
No, he's not worth 4 first-round picks. Robert Thomas is a very good player. Leo Carlsson could be a franchise caliber player. Now, he's not Macklin Celebrini or Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon or one of those, but he is a really, really good player. But $18 million a year is dumb. It's bad because it's not reflective of even what Carlson's ceiling is. That player's not worth $18 million. Heck, who's the guy from the Wild? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank from the guy from the Wild. He's not worth $18 million. He doesn't make quite 18. He makes 17, but he's not even worth that. So Philadelphia, granted, they don't have a lot of big-ticket items, so they're not really in danger of screwing themselves, but maybe down the road they are. $18 million is still excessive. Victoria, thank you very much. Go USA.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WRAL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.